Hello, I'm Alan Cahoon, an advisor to the management board of Velis Real Estate Tech. I'm happy to be here today in Krakow to answer some questions on ESG. But I think the simple answer is that an ESG strategy is the right thing to do and it's doing the right thing. Companies are embracing this to make the world a better place for all of their stakeholders. So it's not just about profits and shareholders, which of course remain important, but it's about their employees, their clients, and the environment in which they work. Well, for sure, it's a good practice. And yeah, arguably parts of it are a legal requirement or are becoming a legal requirement. For example, the government are writing net zero emissions targets into law, and companies have to respond to that. On the social side, there's employment law. On the governance side, there are reporting requirements. So some of it is indeed legal, but overall, it's much more about good practice and making things better. Yeah, commercial real estate, together with transport, are one of the biggest sources of carbon emissions, which of course is extremely important and has suddenly become very topical and very urgent. So I think that's probably the main reason why ESG has now become much more important and is being taken much more seriously by the commercial real estate sector. Well, to be honest, like all companies, real estate companies are doing much the same, which is the ESG strategy is, if you like, bringing transparency to the whole process. So the main thing that all companies have got to do is to actually start measuring and recording data and reporting it. So these are the big activities that having an ESG strategy involves. And I think the important thing is, whereas in the past, some things such as corporate social responsibility were often seen as tick box things that were done and left in the filing cabinet, or where cynically you could say that some of the sustainability reporting was greenwashing. I think the big difference now, particularly in the real estate sector, is that we've moved beyond that. And these earlier tick box and greenwashing reports have now become serious action plans with measurable commitments, measurable goals, and transparent reporting. So for me, that's the big difference. Well, there's a whole bunch of global standards, and I think part of the challenge or the problem is that there is no single globally agreed definition or standard, for example, of net zero. So there are very many reporting frameworks that can be used, and I think what you'll find is companies will choose, one or two or perhaps three. They may report within different frameworks. One that I'd like to mention, which has become increasingly important or increasingly adopted by the commercial real estate industry, particularly the investment funds, and that's GRESB, Global Real Estate Benchmarking. That seems to be becoming a sort of common denominator, certainly for properties that are owned by investment and pension funds and so on. Well, I think the benefits are, I'm not so sure if you can add up a list of tangible benefits, but I think I would like to put it a different way, that if they don't take ESG seriously or they continue to greenwash or box tick, then the simple answer is they're going to lose clients because companies will not want to deal with them. Companies are becoming more demanding and setting the standards. So I think the simple answer is that to get the support of all of their stakeholders, shareholders, clients, customers, staff, even to attract and retain staff and talent, they're going to have very visible and effective ESG strategies, because without that, they probably can't survive in all of these markets anymore. As I've said, the whole thing is about data, about recording the data, analyzing it, reporting it, measuring it. And of course, that's the area that tech is best suited. Well, products like we have, like Singu, as you know, they connect all the stakeholders on a single platform. So we have landlords, fund managers, asset managers, property managers, maintenance staff, tenants, office managers. All of these people have access to what they need to have access to on a single platform. So tech is the thing that links the physical world with the virtual or the digital world. And so therefore, it's, I think, essential if ESG commitments are going to be met. I can't see it being done without one or more tech solutions somehow being in the mix. I have to admit, I was out of the market for a couple of years. And when I've returned to working within the commercial real estate market, the very presence of ESG reporting and it being taken much more seriously, the evolution from tick boxing to action plans, that for me is the biggest single difference that I've seen. It's made quite a big impression on me just to see how seriously and how important this topic has become. And obviously with COVID, well, COVID's impacted all of us for all the wrong reasons, but certainly COVID has, well, we all work virtually much more than we did. That was a trend that was happening. COVID has accelerated a lot of these things. So without tech, we wouldn't have been able to work at home. So that's the biggest thing. Clearly, on the S of ESG, the social aspects, all employers now have a duty to take employee well-being much more seriously. So simple things like elevator lobby occupation, elevator occupancy, waiting times, cleaning regimes, all of that has to be properly managed and monitored. And again, that's something that can be done with tech, but that's just one small example. Thank you for the questions today, and I'm looking forward very much to the next episode.